everyone, and welcome to another episode of Hangout with ST. Hello, everyone.
Hello, everybody.
Because I thought you went still for a while.
I thought got lagged, but I don't know. Anyway, you can see us now, right,
yes.
guys?
Okay. Welcome to another episode of Hangout with ST. She's Alyssa.
And he's Hairianto. And Hangout with ST is a weekly show where we bring you top stories of the week.
That's right, anything that is local to everything that's happening around the world. And we are down to episode
54.
54. Wow.
So we celebrated our 1 year anniversary.
Exactly.
Just last week, is it?
No lah.
See, I can't remember our anniversary already. Recently.
22nd February, I think. Yeah. 2 weeks back.
You're a keeper because you remember dates.
Yes, I know, right?
This is my testimonial for you.
And of course, you know, and you know, we were just reminiscing this, right? We talked about we've come a long way, right?
Yes,
for the 1 year, you know, moving studios.
First of all, from no cup, do not have cups.
No. Started out with just downstairs.
Right, okay, downstairs.
And then now we're at a temporary studio.
Yes.
And then we're going on to a new studio end of the month.
And
right?
with cups as well.
Yes, we have cups as well. Of course, we have cups as well. But more importantly, wherever we are
coming to you live from the Straits Times newsroom. So do leave your comments and we'll read it later during the show.
Yeah, and of course, as always, you know, thank you so much for all the love and support that you've given us throughout these weeks. And yeah, right, we see familiar faces. And of course, we see new names as well. So continue to let your friends and family members know that we are live every Thursday, 8 p.m. on Straits Times Facebook page.
I had to catch my breath.
And today, we will be discussing...
Okay, the removal.
And everyone's talking about it,
yes,
right? Yeah.
Everyone's talking. Sorry, I
no problem.
Jumped the gun. The removal of streaming, no more normal or express streams in secondary schools.
And then we are going to talk about prevention of maid abuse, right?
What more we can do.
And then we're going to talk about that PSLE man. What PSLE man?
If you don't know who we're talking about, you'll know very soon.
And then we'll move on to other news in a minute before rounding off with
Facebook Faceoff, which I have a 4-week streak.
Yeah.
So this is a record. It's never been set before. I am the record holder.
Okay.
So even if you were to break my streak, it doesn't matter because I still hold the streak.
Okay.
Until you have like a 5-win streak.
Right. Okay. Let's say hi to people.
First, let me log in.
As always, right? As always. Okay.
I have something wrong with my Facebook. I cannot load it.
Yeah?
Can you?
I can. Okay. We have Miles Casby, of course. Good evening from Australia.
Miles
Hope you are well. Hope you are well as well. Lee Judy, good evening. We have somebody from Tokyo. Keiko Matsumoto.
Oh, konbanwa.
Konbanwa. Genki desu ka? That's Japanese, right? Yeah.
Yes. Genki desu ka?
Lynette says hi from LC. Mama Ridwan, my reservist mate.
Now everybody know. Okay, I've logged in.
Azman Saleh says, nice background, club vibe.
Yes, that's the idea.
No lah, we were going more for the evening talk show vibe lah.
But you know, if you fancy of a club, sure.
Exactly. But more importantly, let all your friends and family members know that we are online right now. Now, the Ministry of Education dropped a bombshell on Tuesday that there will be no streaming as we know it.
And this comes after 40 years of streaming. So I sat down with our colleague Sandra Davie. She's the senior education correspondent at the Straits Times, and we discussed some things about it, how the ministry is expanding the current subject-based banding system, otherwise known as SBB.
From 2024, starting with those entering secondary 1, students will take subjects at 3 levels. We have G1, G2, and G3, with G standing for general. G1 will roughly correspond to today's NT standards, G2 to NA, and then G3 to Express standard.
Now the ministry will start SBB in about 25 schools next year, and then this will be progressively introduced to all secondary schools by 2024.
Yep. Now 2 schools in particular have adopted this system of not organising classes along the typical academic tracks. Edgefield Secondary School is one of them. They adopted the SBB system, and so far it's been received well by students and their parents. Now Boondi Secondary School has an unorthodox practice of organising form classes by co-curricular activities.
And we do have a video of a day in the school at Boondi Secondary, so have a look.
In July, we started to transit to the CCA-centric model. So the CCA-centric structure is basically for the purpose of helping them feel a sense of belonging. In terms of their academic learning, it is still based on the subjects that they take and based on the levels that they are at and the streams that they are from. So for SBB, for example, an NA student can take express subjects.
Okay, every morning during morning assembly, the seniors are expected to take the attendance of juniors and as well as to check their attire. When we impose these rules to the seniors themselves first need to be properly attired and be punctual during morning assembly before they can check on the juniors. So these expectations made all the seniors better leaders themselves, and this habit is actually brought into their classrooms where they are very aware of their behavior and people around them.
So there you have it. For the full video, you can log on to straitstimes.com.
Yep, and of course with us right here in the studio we have Sandra Davie, the Senior Education Correspondent of Straits Times, as well as Mr. Tan Chao Pang, the Principal of Boondi Secondary School.
Yay! Is there anything you want to say to your viewers? Anyone new? Just shout out.
Mr. Tan?
The Boondians.
Hi, good evening, and really happy to be here. I want to say hello to all my Boondians. Arise!
Arise!
Nice. Okay, let's just
jump into it,
right?
Yeah.
Dive into it. Streaming. Dive into
streaming.
See the little pun there.
Good.
Okay, so Mr. Tan, earlier on we saw the video and we saw how Boondi Secondary School has organized classes based on CCA. Maybe a bit more on that. How do you guys start out with it? Yeah.
Okay, I think one of the eureka moment for me was when I was looking at the students doing cross-country training, and I saw one of my students who's a captain, instructing the boys, please run 10 rounds. And then when I looked at him, none of the boys reacted. They just did what he instructed.
Right.
Then I was imagining to myself, if a teacher were to say the same thing, there will be lots of protests, there will be lots of bargaining, And therein, I understood that I may have the vested power and authority, but the student has influence. And I was asking myself, how can I maximize this influence so that I can help them benefit from the experience in school? So that was one of the moments that I.
And how far has Boondi? How long has Boondi adopted this system of organizing via CCAs?
Yeah, we started in 2017 in July. Because we were a merger of Pioneer and Secondary and Boondi Secondary, so we took 6 months to just settle in. Then after which we transited, into this CCA-centric structure.
And I was wondering, when you introduced this new organization, what were the reactions from the students, and then also any from parents?
Okay, actually the students are the easiest to handle because they accept new environment, new situations quite easily. We just gave them time to bond together as a CCA, and then they just got on very well. But parents had a bit of a reservation, and the key of which is, if I have an issue, who do I speak to? I don't have form teacher to speak to. I says, well, you just speak to the CCA teacher, and you need to know only one, and that will be for the next 4 years. So it's much easier.
Yeah, because it's both form teacher and CCA.
Yes.
And it followed through.
And it followed through for 4 years. So it's just one point of contact for everything.
Now, for those of you, of course, watching us live from wherever you are, we are here with Sandra, who's our Senior Education Correspondent, as well as the Principal of Boondi Secondary School, Mr. Tan, who has organized the classes in Boondi Secondary School according to CCA. So if you have any questions with regard to the recent announcement by MOE to abolish streaming in secondary school, drop your comments or any questions that you want to ask either Sandra or Mr. Tan in the comments section below.
And then we'll get to it. But first, to kick things off, we also have some questions for Sandra. So Sandra, since the news broke, there's been a lot of comments, a lot of concerned reactions, right? And when the video came out on YouTube, there are a lot of comments. So we've consolidated a lot of these comments into about 2 to 3 questions, the most commonly asked questions. The first one is, why is it only now that MOE decided to abolish streaming?
Okay, actually it's been quite a few years in the making, and in fact we're replacing streaming with subject-based bending. And MOE had started subject-based bending years ago, more than a decade ago, where they allowed the upper secondary normal stream students to take up some subjects at express stream level. And slowly they extended it. So we've come to a stage now where I guess we feel that, you know, the benefits are obvious. A lot of the results have shown that the normal stream students taking subjects at a higher level actually doing as well as the O-level, as the express stream students. So Ministry feels comfortable that we can actually allow full subject-based bending across even history, geography, the humanities subjects, and you know, it will benefit normal stream students, especially in raising their self-esteem and confidence, and allowing them to do better in the subjects that they are stronger in. Yeah.
And then earlier when we were discussing, Mr. Tan brought up the question, okay, because some of you were complaining, oh, why not make it now, you know, because I'm missing out or something like that. And then you brought up something about time. Maybe you want to repeat to the people?
I think we are always behind time, you know. By the time we realize the trend and start to act on it, we would have lost a few years. And then when we act on it, you know, we are acting on students graduating a few years down the road, and we can't see what is down the road. So we are always behind time in whatever we decide to do. But having said that, I think for us this is the right time because Ministry has introduced subject-based bending across all schools. We were the last phase, and my students are in Sec 2 now. Next year they'll be in Sec 3, and this will be offered to them on a system-wide basis, that they can do subject-based bending. And so I think for the whole system, it is the right time.
Anyway, better late than never, right?
Yes.
At least it's happening.
And there are
That's
comments
true.
also online saying that, oh, you know, you are abolishing streaming, replacing it with SBB. Is it just another term? You know, basically, you know, same wine but just in a different, you know,
Bottle.
bottle. Yeah.
Okay, well, I have a lot of parents telling me the same thing. Basically telling me, oh, so they're just replacing normal tech with G1, normal acad G2, and express with G3.
Yep.
It's just giving them new names,
Yep.
you know. But I hope not, okay, because previously, although you had subject-based bending, I think this move towards full subject-based bending basically means that hopefully normal stream students will take up more subjects at a higher level in the subjects that they're strong in, and feel that, you know, they are achieving something, and that they are going to be able to access whatever career goals they have in mind, because you need to learn some subjects at a higher level. For example, if you want to do engineering or computing, you should be good in maths, you know, and you should be doing it at a higher level. So it's also how it's going to be implemented in schools, you know. So the Ministry is hoping that schools will seize the opportunity to reorganize their classes in different ways, the way Boondi is doing, right? And I went to Edgefield, and Edgefield too is actually trying out mixed ability classes for some of their programs, like the READ program. So in the spirit of things, really schools should take it further and break down all these barriers, and hopefully it will happen, you know, in time to come.
And Mr. Tan, you know, coming from an educator's point of view, what are your comments about, you know, just is it a renaming of you know, express, normal acad? Would it help, you know, moving forward with this G1, G2, G3 bending?
I think it's more than a cosmetic change, because at the end of their education in secondary school, they will all get the same certificate. It's just that they will have different subjects and different levels. In fact, if you think about it now, you know, mother tongue is an example. You know, you can be taking O level, but you are taking just the, you know, the basic mother tongue, but it's still the O level. So the whole system becomes harmonized in this way, that everybody actually gets the same certificate.
It's like E-Maths and A-Maths, right?
Yes, and it's different subjects. So the possibilities are, I think, clearly there for different students with different ability for specific subjects to take it at a higher or lower level, whichever serves their purpose best.
And then Sandra, so do you think, and Mr. Tan, you can weigh in as well, so do you think that this abolishment of streaming, it benefits more of the middle to the middle attainers?
Well, you know, in terms of the effects of streaming and stigmatization, labeling and stigmatization, especially, is those who are deemed less able, who are the ones who are most affected by this labeling. So, yes, it will definitely raise the self-esteem and confidence, we hope, of the students in the lower streams, the normal tech and normal academic. And studies have shown that if you boost their confidence and their self-esteem, they tend to do much better in school. And of course, there's the other thing is teachers' expectations, right? That's something that I think educators should reflect on. You know, what the kind of expectations that they are showing towards their students, you know, and the way they're voicing it as well, right? I mean, I got quite a lot of email from people saying the kind of things that the teachers told them when they were in normal tech.
And
so did you guys, right?
And you know, funny enough, Sandra, on that topic, there is somebody who has commented. Z Zoe says this in relation to what you just said. My daughter is in Sec 4 and A. I recently had a discussion with the teachers in her school, and the teachers actually discourage NA students to continue to take O levels. Do you think teachers should discourage students to not pursue in taking their O levels and just opt for the easier option, which is to take the higher NITEC route instead? It feels like they are undermining my daughter's ability. With that said, uni still look upon your O level results as well. Any comments on that?
No, I think it's too simplistic to say that, you know, we discourage them from taking the O level and that therefore we are thumping them down. But actually it depends on the kind of subjects that they're doing well in. Because now there are new options. You can go for early admission, which is actually not a wasted time, and it prepares the student actually for polytechnic as well. You know, so there are options that sometimes parents don't even realize that is available. So I would be wary to say that this may be just too quick to make the judgment.
I mean, there are a lot more diverse pathways and choices for kids these days, and parents don't always know about these different pathways that their kids can take and end up at the same point. Like if they want to go to poly, that might be another pathway, you know. So not necessarily through the O-level route. So that's one thing. But I think educators should also reflect and think about the things that they tell their students and their parents as well, the kind of messages they're giving them. Because it has a powerful, research again shows that it's a powerful effect on kids, you know. When teachers have higher expectations of their kids, the kids actually tend to do better because they think, oh, my teacher thinks I'm capable of doing this.
Most definitely.
So it's very important.
Jan, would you like to share your secondary school experience?
Yes, okay, so what happened was, you mentioned, right, this subject-based banding did happen for me. So I was in secondary school about 10 years, more than 10 years back. And at that time, we were banded for English. So, I mean, I was in the better class for English.
He was in the best English class.
Okay, but you see, the thing is, the funny thing is, even though I was in the best class compared to the across level, right? But within the class itself, I was the weaker one compared to my peers in the same class. And you know, it was quite disheartening for me because the teacher never failed to make me feel inferior, as it were, you know, to my other classmates. Even though, you know, comparing against everyone else across the level, I was still okay.
You're in the top class already.
Right? So you're right to say that, you know, sometimes it does, and because of that, you know, it's of course spurred me on and motivated
and you
me
remember her to this day.
I remember to this day, exactly. And for those of you again who have just watching us or tuning us right here, we are coming to you live from the Straits Times newsroom, and we have our senior education correspondent Sandra, as well as the principal of Boondi Secondary School, Mr. Tan, who are here to take questions, you know, from you, if you have anything at all with regard to MOE's latest announcement in abolishing secondary school streaming.
So now we will take your questions live for both of them to answer. So Wilson Talk, he asks, do you think abolishing all kinds of streaming will reduce stress for parents, teachers and students, and hence reduce suicide attempts?
Whoa.
Is that too far to say, or
Let's
what?
say reduce stress.
Yeah.
Let's say reduce stress.
I think streaming is not really to reduce stress per se,
Right.
because
Yeah.
some bits of stress actually is helpful. But the idea is not to pigeonhole everybody
Yeah.
and say that there's only
Yeah.
one way and one path. You know,
Yeah.
actually there is a variegated landscape in terms of choosing the kind of subjects that they want to do,
Yeah.
and that's recognizing abilities in a refined way.
Yeah.
You know, by subject and not by the
Yeah,
entire
not
course.
across the board,
Yes.
right?
Right.
You actually recognize that a child may be poor in humanities but very strong in
Yes.
maths
Yeah.
and science.
Yeah.
You know, and we should allow that child to reach the full potential. in those
Right, but
areas
that's why
that
we
he's
have
strong in.
the pure science or the combined science stream, right? So how come that didn't, or you say that's not as effective as abolishing streaming, or
Because you still have to do your languages and
All the other
you may not be
subjects
strong
as well.
in some
Right.
of those.
Got it,
subjects.
got it.
And you know, Mr. Tan, on that note as well, talking about workload, I was reading through on my own social media. I've teacher friends. They were quite apprehensive in a sense where they were just thinking, is this going to change my workload? Because administrative wise, it's not just going to one particular class and then following through. It's different classes, and then there's going to be movement around for every subject. Students are going to move around. For example, I would imagine, I am a G2 for science, but I may be, say, a G1 for math, and then there's a lot of movement. Do you think moving forward, and based on what you have, introduced in Boondi Secondary School, in terms of workload and administrative workload, do you think there will be a change? How would that play out for teachers,
I think in the first instance, any change requires a lot more work to be put in, so that the change can become effective. So for example, when we started this CCA-centric structure, people were wary because they didn't know what to expect. And each time we introduce something new, they will be unhappy because they, I'm totally in the dark, I don't know what to do, and so they have to learn new skill. But 1 year later, when they start to see the benefit, they say, wow, I think it has been worth the while. Because it's allowed the whole learning disposition of students to change. So I think the same will happen, as we go through this period of change. Teachers will have to be reskilled. For example, teachers have to be more skillful in differentiated instruction, because there are students of different ability in the class. And to meet their needs, we have to change the way we instruct them. Similarly, the way the school is being organized, we will be in a state of flux, and it takes some while to get into a steady state before we start to see the benefit.
At Edgefield Secondary that I visited, they had to do like 100 versions of the timetable, before they could fit everything in that they wanted to do, right? So I think administratively, logistically, it does take up more time and more work and everything. But at the end of the day, is this something worthwhile doing? I think definitely, So, and the teachers at Edgefield also went for additional training on differentiated teaching, how to make sure your lessons are just as effective when you have groups of students of varying ability within the same class. But it can be done, and a lot of research shows that mixed ability classes, the kids in mixed ability classes do much better.
And at the end of the day, of course, more details have yet to be revealed, and then moving forward, there will be more details, and then how it's going to pan out,
MOE
and all that. On that note, Sandra, Mr. Tan, any final thoughts on this announcement, with regard to abolishment of this streaming in secondary schools?
Yeah, I mean, personally, having been in education for almost 40 years, I think this is the right move because we are meeting people's ability and helping them, realize their potential. What I hope that will happen is that parents must be patient because we are at a stage where the change is quite drastic. And therefore, there will be a bit of messiness. And I think parents must accept that this is part of the process of change. And we will come to a steady state where people, the students in particular, will benefit from the system a lot better than what it is now and in the past.
I think parents have to check their own mindsets. To be aware of their own mindsets and the labeling and stigmatizing that they themselves are doing, to normal stream students. Because I have a lot of parents telling me, oh, now they're going to look for a school that has only express streams or make sure that the kid gets into a IP school, you know. So it's quite disheartening, so really parents have to rethink, what is it that they want and what would be good for students in the long run. Even if their kid is academically very strong and able to go into IP school, the child is going to miss out on the social mixing and being able to get along with kids from other backgrounds and so on, developing empathy. These are all very important skills for the 21st
And I think
century.
what you have said, Sandra, is very aptly summarized by this comment by Chan Mei San that says, JCs have H1, H2, H3 and special talent classes. Classifications see everywhere, even at work, where employees are classified into different salary bands depending on their performance. We have to change our mindset and educate our children to recognize their own strengths and weaknesses, then to focus on their own subject level choices of things that they have confidence in doing well. Right?
Definitely,
So thank you so much for sharing, Sandra and Mr. Tan. We hope that their sharing has answered some of the questions that you might have, any concerns that you might have. And then to end things off, since we're talking about mindset change and all that, we do have some advice from filmmaker Royston Tan and lawyer Josephus Tan. They were interviewed and the video was published today on straightscience.com, so have a look.
I just tell myself that, okay, I might not be good with my studies, but I can excel in many other areas. Like, for example, like performance, debate, singing, choir, arts. So I join every single competition, to make up for what I cannot achieve in my studies.
It doesn't determine who you are and what you will achieve in future. And I think I'm a living example of that. Right now, I'm a PSLE student with a score of 183. Currently, I'm an award-winning lawyer with my own law firm, who have given so much to the community, who have done good for people, or in my own industry. So what does it say? It doesn't say anything. It is just a score, which is unnecessary.
It will get better, the bullying will stop, and you just have to be who you are.
Regardless of whatever stream you get into, regardless of the labeling, just be happy, learn at your own pace, and keep forging ahead for your future.
So there you go, some advice from Royston Tan and also Joseph Tan. They were from the normal stream.
Alyssa, the case of maid abuse is not new. It is a perennial issue and reports of such abuse are still prevalent. And in Singapore, 1 in 5 households employs and lives with a foreign domestic worker.
And it's been reported that for foreign domestic workers in Singapore, they seek help for these problems. These are the top 3. One is overwork, one is verbal abuse, and pay-related issues.
Yeah, and on Tuesday, a couple was found guilty of abusing their Myanmar maid, Miss Mo Tan. Now, the wife, Miss Cha Yun Ling, force-fed a mixture of rice and sugar down her throat after the woman complained about not having enough to eat. Now, the maid was also forced to even eat her vomit. Among other things, also the employers caned her and threatened to hire an assassin to kill the family in Myanmar.
Okay, and this is actually the second time that Miss Cha and her husband, Mr. Tay Wee Kiat, were found guilty of abusing their maid. So they were first in caught in
Yep.
March 2017 for abusing their first Indonesian maid, Miss Fitria.
Yeah.
So Tay and Chia, they've been offered bail of $15,000 each, and they're expected to be sentenced on March 18.
Yeah, and of course there are other cases also that were reported last month. In fact, minimally there were 2.
Also involving like physical abuse, food deprivation.
Yeah, food
where they lost
deprivation
a lot
and
of
all
weight.
that. So the question really for those of you who are watching us, what do you think we can do to prevent maid abuse?
So even though this isn't a very common occurrence,
Yeah.
but the fact that it's happening here in Singapore, and you would think that
Yeah.
first world country, why is it happening? You know, like
Yeah, it's inhuman, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And really, so for those of you who have just joined us here, tell us, what do you think we can do to help, prevent any case of maid abuse? One, of course, we discussed this yesterday, right? And we thought that why not maid agencies have regular surprise visits to these households to check on the maids.
Yes, and similar like how we have social workers checking up on children who are adopted, right?
Yep.
So I think there's a proper term for it that it's like not in my head right now.
Yeah.
But if you're wondering, okay, Alyssa, why are you comparing like adopted children to maids? Okay, they have some similarities. Is that they're in a new household with people they don't actually know very well.
Yeah.
They're suddenly expected to make it their home. But even though there's an age difference,
Yeah.
what makes you think that every adult knows exactly what to do in every situation?
Exactly.
Right, and sometimes these maids, they are locked in, they don't have access to their
Yeah.
phone, don't have access to anything, no communication,
Yeah.
they can't leave the house.
Yeah.
Then what are they supposed to do, right?
Yeah. So, there must be a way out, right, for them.
Yeah.
And of course, with these house visits, we understand that manpower is one. More manpower is needed. There's going to be an increase in cost. I suppose there will always be opportunity costs involved, but at the end of the day, it's really about striking the balance. One is protecting the maid's safety and welfare, but of course, on the other hand, not to cripple the employers.
There has to be a balance. So,
Yeah.
as we said before, it's not to say that every employer abuses their maids
Yeah.
here in Singapore.
Yeah.
But you know what? I think it's good for foreign domestic workers who are watching this right now, and if
Yeah.
you're wondering, well, who can I turn to?
Yeah.
Hopefully they are not cut off from using their mobile phone. Or if
Yeah.
anything, if you're looking for a community, you'll be glad to know that there is HOME. This is the Humanitarian Organization for Migration Economics. And then there's also FAST.
FAST as well, the Foreign Domestic Worker Association for Social Support and Training. Now, this is supported by Ministry of Manpower. It provides free legal counselling and mediation services.
And then there's also a public Facebook group. This one is called FDW in Singapore, Working Conditions Forum.
FDWs also get legal protection under the Employment of Foreign Manpower Act. Yeah, but you see, Alyssa, I think at the end of the day, it's really about treating another human being with dignity.
Exactly. And
Right.
also one thing I was wondering about, it's like, how did the cases get so bad to the point where some of these maids, they lose like 20 kg?
Yeah.
And they've got bruises.
Yeah.
I'm sure at some point, would they have gone out to do groceries or,
Yeah.
how, it's not like you're living in an isolated home where your
Yeah.
neighbor is like 15 minutes away. You probably live in an apartment or
Yeah.
flat or
Yeah.
house. How come, did anyone see them?
Yeah.
And if anyone saw them, were they reported?
Yeah.
You
So I
know?
think at the end of the day, it also boils down, as we've talked about this in other issues as well in
Yeah.
our past episodes, it's about developing that sense of neighborliness, right?
Yes.
As a good neighbor, if you see that, the helper of your neighbor has kind of like needs help, is acting quite out of the norm,
Or is severely underweight.
Yeah, maybe
Bruised.
it's not so much about, don't want to be a busybody and all that. It's not about that,
because
right?
sometimes our culture can be like, mind your own business,
Yeah.
okay, what.
Yeah, right. It's as much as we want that kind of help to be extended to us when we are caught in that situation. I think it also starts with us to extend help to other people as well.
Yeah, I think maybe one reason why people don't do anything is because they're worried about embarrassing themselves. Maybe like they realize, oh, actually it wasn't a big problem at all. But,
Yeah. Okay, let's see. We have some comments right here. We have Chami-san says, whatever kinds of abuse, whether it's maids, children, adults, and elderly, neighbours can play an important role in being a bit more capo and report suspicious cases.
And then, sorry, I can't really pronounce your name. Correct me if I'm wrong. Tia Johans.
Yeah.
Learn from the Japanese and stop hiring housemaids is a form of modern slavery. Well, I think actually some employers treat their domestic helpers very well.
Yeah. Yeah. It's help, right?
And this is really a small
Yeah.
percentage, but even
Yeah.
then we are trying to say why is there even such a small percentage?
Yeah.
You should be down to 0.
Yeah, correct. You know, sometimes families, they need help.
Yes.
Yeah, and which is why, you know, that I've had friends, you know, with both working parents. They just need a helper to be around, you know, to make sure that, you know, the house is clean and all that, and at the same time, you know, just an extra
It's help lah,
pair
I mean,
of hands
yeah.
won't kill, right? We have Clement Low that says we can prevent maid abuse by not having maids. Ha 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 ha. I guess, but at the end of the day, like what we mentioned, you know, is that extra pair of hands.
That's right.
Yeah.
So another thing that's been making its rounds online also is this PSLE man. Okay, if you're wondering who that
PSLE
is this man who faked his civil engineering
Oh my
qualifications
goodness.
to get jobs at 38 companies.
38, by the way.
Already sometimes get 1 job, 2 jobs so difficult. This guy got 38!
Now, Mr. Chin Ming Lik, whose highest qualification is PSLE, moved quickly between jobs to avoid suspicion. Smart person, huh? He eventually got caught in 2016
Don't learn,
when
okay?
an assistant manager at NUS Registrar Office received an NUS degree scroll with Chin's name for verification and found that it did not match any of the records in the university's database.
So he was then reported to the police, and on Tuesday he was sentenced to 2 years and 11 months jail and fined $1,600 for his offence.
Among the documents he forged were the NUS degree scroll, the certificates from MOM and Singapore Polytechnic, as well as GCE A-level certificate. At least he covered all grounds.
Except O levels.
yeah,
Or maybe he do IB.
Or maybe IB, straight, IP.
But at least the PSLE wasn't forged. That
Okay,
one is legit.
yeah, that is
That
legit.
is legit. But
What
no shame in having PSLE
Yes.
qualifications, okay, if that's the
Whatever
one
it is, this
one.
sounds all too familiar. It's like the US hit
TV,
series, TV
yep.
hit series.
Your
Suits.
favorite Suits. Except
Yeah.
that fictional character really did know his stuff lah. I mean, because you know civil engineering is a very specific skill. You were saying,
Yeah.
how do you fake it?
Yeah, right.
I mean, I know the saying, fake it till you make it, but honestly, how do you fake
You
engineering?
really need the skill, which is why I think that's why he job hop.
Maybe he
To avoid
got big
suspicion.
project, right? Then take MC
Yeah,
or
yeah.
like, yeah, who knows? Who
It's
knows?
amazing, right? It's amazing. Oh, we have John Atong that talked about abuse maids.
Okay.
Nothing can help abuse maids and other crimes. Lots of people here are mad. Read the medias regularly. We can do something. Which
True,
is,
a lot of people are mad,
develop
I have to say.
sense neighborliness. Yep, continue to keep your comments coming in with all the topics that we have discussed today. The abolishment of streaming in secondary schools, what we can do to prevent,
Maid
maid
abuse?
abuse.
Yeah.
Yeah, right? So with that, we move on to other news in a minute.
So in under 1 minute, we will crunch down headlines of the week. Other headlines.
For Singaporeans born in the 50s, you'll be glad to know that the Merdeka Generation Package benefits will be available from July 1st. You will receive the first $200 top-up to your Medisave accounts and enjoy annual top-ups until 2023. The second rollout will be in November.
And if you need your vegetables, just head to your neighbourhood car park rooftop. In the next few weeks, the new Citiponics farm at Ang Mo Kio Avenue 6 will be able to produce enough veggies to feed 1,600 people for a month. Now, the farm aims to grow up to 4 tons of vegetables a month.
Last headline, from April 1st, library users can borrow up to 16 physical books at a time compared to the previous 8. Users can continue to loan 16 e-books at the same time too, bringing the total loan number to 32 books. All we have to say is good luck reading all that within 21 days. And that is all we have for Onyam this week.
And now for our last segment, Facebook Faceoff.
Which you won 4 weeks in a row, yeah?
Yes, so viewers, if you've been watching, you realize that I've been very lucky since 2019 has started.
It's the year of the horse.
It's the year of the
I said
horse. No,
already.
it's the year of the pig. But
Yeah. I mean, it's for you, yeah.
But for horses, are meant to be said to be lucky this year.
So they'll be lucky,
If you're
exactly.
auspicious,
So
right?
how this works basically, we trawl through our Straight Science Facebook page to pick the wittiest and dunnest comments that you guys have posted, and we're going to share them with you. If you think that Alyssa's comment that Alyssa has picked is funnier, you type in A.
If you think the one he picked is funny, type in H.
Okay, Alyssa, you go first.
Okay. Oh, I go first?
Yeah,
okay.
you go first.
So this one, okay. So South Korea, they're choking on bad air because of fine dust levels, okay? And then Patrick Lam says it's so dusty. So dusty. so good.
I understand, but I'm not trying to laugh because I don't want you to hit a point. Okay, my comment. This is basically bookworms rejoice. Now people can borrow up to 32 books each time from April 1st. And then I picked this comment because it resonates very deeply with me. Noor Kyrene says, all these books and yet we're not on the same page.
You must feel so misunderstood. What thing?
Now, if you think that the comment Alyssa has picked is funny, you type in A.
If you think the one that Hairianto picked is funnier, type in H.
Okay, round two.
You.
Okay, I'll go. Now, this is about private hire car drives into swimming pool at Geylang condominium. I tell you what, our social media team is on point, these days, right?
Yes, and by the way, they are not manned by interns.
Yeah.
A lot of people think it's interns, but hey, it's a full-time
So this
job.
is hashtag literal carpooling. Ho Kop Pin says, customer, hi, can drop me further inside the condo? Because we always like to say that, right? And the Grab driver said, say no more. They went all the way in.
It's good. Although I have to say the hashtag literal carpooling, that was good.
Better, yeah, okay.
That was good.
Okay, you go.
Okay, so mine is the PSLE man lah.
Yeah.
Okay, so a man jailed, fined for using fake qualifications to get jobs. Okay, over 4 years. Ng Chi Wan says, one thing is real, he got a PhD in forgery.
That's true. Now,
funny, right?
If you think that the comment that Alyssa picked is funnier, you type in A.
If you think Hairianto's one is funnier, type in H.
Okay, Ellie, third round, you go.
I go last
round, yeah.
Okay, so now you can ride a bus and then you can find out more about Singapore's history. So do you know where Sungai Bodoh is in Singapore? It was actually marked down on the map. Yeah.
Okay.
So you're not alone. Ian Ju says, sorry, I bodoh. I don't know where's Sungai Bodoh.
Ah, so it's a play of words.
Play of
They were okay.
It's quite good. You try to control it, right?
Yeah. Okay, mine. This is basically the story about Royston Tan and Josephus Tan, right? That we mentioned. They were featured into this story, and they were not from normal stream.
Yes.
And Ismail Ishtar says, yeah, man, I too felt like the hum rejected by the char kway teow. They always
By
say my
all of you who don't want the hum in your char kway teow,
correct.
your laksa. Imagine how the poor hum feels.
Yes, correct.
Terrible.
So once again, if you think that Alyssa's comment is funny, you type in A.
If you thought Hairianto's one was funnier, type in H.
Okay, we're gonna give you some time to comment. We have a comment from Samuel Chua that says, we have to treat our mates with respect. After all, they are away from their own family and need love from us. That's true. That's very, very true.
And then Chan Mei San says, whatever kinds of abuse, whether it's maids, children, adults or the elderly.
I've read that, but we can read that again.
Yes!
Just read it. We cannot,
I'm reading this for people who didn't hear you earlier.
Okay.
Neighbours can play an important role in being a bit more kepo and report suspicious cases.
Correct. I agree.
Okay, Samuel Toh says, you are my hum to my char kway teow.
Wait, Samuel, who is it? Is it me or is it Alyssa?
Must be you lah.
Aww, stop it, you. Okay, are we gonna do a countdown?
We should.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and the winner.
The winner is me! Oh my God!
Again!
What? It's a new world record on Hangout with ST. No one has won 5 weeks in a row. Thank you very much. I just want to take this time to thank all the people who commented and then thank you to my brain for choosing these comments.
Okay, thank you to my brain. Okay, I am sorely disappointed in my fans.
Thank you,
I don't know
everybody.
where
Thank
you guys
Thank you
are.
for voting.
Why are you not voting for eaches? But it's okay. We have many, many weeks to come for you to redeem yourself and vote for me. Now that is all we have for you this week. For more news and videos, do log on to straitstimes.com.
And we're also on social media, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube. You really drink? Water is it? Huh? Cannot wait until after the show, but drink now.
I'm very thirsty. I almost choked. That's why I
you
was
see,
drinking water.
that's why you choke.
Yeah.
Dangerous.
So follow us on social media as well. Now we hope you guys have enjoyed this week. Continue to keep your comments coming in the comment section, right? Because throughout the week we will be reading them as well.
We do check back.
Yeah, we do check back. So next week, same time, 8 p.m. on Straits Times Facebook page on Thursday. Right? Once again, she's Alyssa.
And he's Hairianto.
Goodbye and see you next week.